Yeah. Yeah, good evening all. In the yesterday demo session, I was just briefing a bit why data engineer, role of data engineer, difference between data engineer, data scientist, analyst, Azure data engineer products and services, job market of Azure data engineer. Just I'll take 2 minutes what I discussed in the last class. Cloud is majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering the data in various form. On premises, we need to set up your own hardware infrastructure on top of that OS installation, purchasing of database license, installation of database server, designing of database objects. To maintain all this, right, we require separate teams like hardware team, operating system team, networking team, security team, data administrators. But here everything in the cloud, we no need to maintain all this. So no need of any infrastructure, no need of any licenses, everything in the cloud environment. So data engineers, with the help of cloud services, they work on the data and make it structured and useful. So data engineers responsible for smooth data flow from the source to destination. Data engineers responsible for preparing the data, cleansing the data, transforming the data, right? And processing the data. Data scientists, they're used for strategizing for the future, analyzing the data, identifying the patterns, recommendations for the future. Data analyst summarizes the past, analyzes the data, summarize the data of the past, visualizing the data. Data engineers does all the groundwork for data scientists and analysts. More than 80% of data analysis is done by data engineers. Data engineering involves what are the sources of data, what is the format of data, how to transform data, and what is the destination of the data, right? Yes. Today, why Azure data engineer in demand and role of Azure data engineer, designing the entire data flow architecture, creating the data warehouse for storing of analytical data, ETL. So one of the key tasks, right, of data engineer, extracting data from different sources, loading into their company storage service, and further business evaluations by the data scientist, data monitoring, making sure that the data is available everywhere required, right? Data security, it is also a key task of data engineer. The data needs to be secured at each step of the process without any leaks or exposures. Collaboration and communication. They have to constantly communicate with the business team. They need to constantly communicate with the business team to check if the team needs any data insights. Collaborating with the data scientists is also necessary to deliver the data. Analytics, right? Data engineers analyze the data and transform it into structured and useful format. They need to have strong analytical and mathematical skills. And for automation, right? Certain things need to be automated, such as data extraction. Yes. And next I was discussing about the various data engineering products. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Synapse, Azure Streaming, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Key Vault.
One question.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
For analytics, do you have any tools in Azure?
I'm coming to it. So here, yes, Databricks, right? In Azure Data, generally everything we have got Spark. Spark is the main execution weapon, right? Where Spark has got Spark MLlib is there, Spark machine learning library is there, right? Everything, the Spark is the main weapon in this Azure Data. In Azure, right? In Azure Data Engineering, the main thing what you can do everything by using Apache Spark. Means Spark machine learning library is there available, right? Yes. And for analytics, Spark has got powerful libraries. Apache Spark has got powerful libraries, right? So Azure Databricks with Spark has got a great demand today, right? Yes. So now Cloud RDBMS, Azure SQL is a Cloud RDBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is for OLTP operations. Azure Data Lake, a distributed file system with unlimited data storage. I want in the cloud, that is Azure Data Lake. HDFS, on-premise DFS, but Azure Data Lake Cloud DFS, distributed file system. The repository for large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. We talk more on this data lake. Every cloud data lake, every cloud data lake, right? Provides some benefits. Provides some benefits. Yes. First one is unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. Secondly, supports all varieties. Supports all varieties of data. All varieties of data like structured, semi-structured, and unstructured, right? All varieties of data like structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. And thirdly, supports all formats of data. Supports all formats of data. Whatever it is, like a .txt or .csv, .torc, .zip. .zip, .gzip. Here, if you observe, here data is in files. Here data in files. Data in files means we cannot, means we cannot set up relationship. We not set up relationship between the files. Between the files. If data is in tables, we can maintain relationship set using primary key or foreign key. If data is in the form of tables, we can set up relationship between this using primary key or foreign key. So here emp.txt, for example, emp.txt is there. dpt.txt is there. Attendance.txt is there. Salaries.txt is there. So do you see any relationship between this? You can maintain any relationship? No. Here we cannot set up relationship. But if we have tables, but if we have tables, but if you have tables such as, for example, orders is one table, orders, sales transactions, customers, products, order, sales transactions, customers, products. These are tables. So what is the relationship here? What is the relationship? For example, order of what? Order of what? Product. Product. Booked for whom? Booked for whom? A customer. Once order confirmed. Once order confirmed as a transaction. See the relationship here? Order of what? A product. Product booked for whom? A customer. Once order confirmed as transaction. So what I'm expecting? So I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS. I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS. The two used for data warehouse. The two I'm expecting parallel processing. I'm expecting parallel processing. What is it? I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS, that too used for data warehouse. That too I'm expecting parallel processing. That is nothing but Azure Synapse. Azure Synapse. So next, Azure Synapse, right? So I'll just come back to this. Azure Synapse I was discussed. I'll bring it here. Azure Synapse. Cloud or DBMS for data warehouse, for analytics, for batch processing. Batch processing means user non-interactive applications. User is nowhere required here. Millions and trillions of records for parallel processing. So here in this, here we have a database. Here we have a database. Here we have a database called Azure Synapse. Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. So here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. Synapse DB. Here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. That is we call as Synapse DB. What is Synapse DB? What is Synapse DB? Cloud data warehouse of Azure. See, Azure Data Lake, when to go for data, Azure Data Lake, when to go for Azure Synapse. Azure Synapse is there. Azure Data Lake is there. Azure Synapse, go for Azure Synapse if data is structured. Azure Data Lake if data is unstructured. If data is unstructured, yes. If data is unstructured, right, go for this. Yes. Now next is Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory. Simple, in a simple way, right? It is a cloud-based ETL. It is a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure Cloud Platform. Zero coding ETL tool. See here, OLTP systems, online transactional processing. Online transactional processing, right? OLTP system, this normal databases. And here, if we talk about data warehouse, data warehouse stores analytical, stores historical data, stores historical data. See, what are the things which comes into OLTP systems databases? Means in the Azure side, we got Azure SQL is available. And in other things like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, MongoDB, right? We come to this data warehouse. What are the things like Azure Synapse, Azure Synapse, and if we talk like other things like Teradata, Netezza, Vertica. So where this, okay, Azure SQL here, Azure Synapse here, Azure Data Factory, where ADF will come? ADF, observe this, ADF. It doesn't come in OLTP. It doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. ADF doesn't come in OLTP or in data warehouse. So here you can see in between this both here ADF between this both, right? Yes. It acts as a data integration service between these OLTP systems and this warehouse systems. ADF is a integration service between the OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. Okay. All transactions All transactions captured at OLTP systems. All transactions captured at OLTP systems. How to bring these transactions? How to bring these transactions into warehouse system? We have ETL. We have ETL, right? How to bring these transactions into warehouse systems? From OLTP systems, how we are going to bring these transactions into warehouse? We have ETL by using ETL tools. Like Informatica, Data Stage, Talent, all this on-premise ETL tools. But I need a ETL. I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? ADF, Azure Data Factory. Using ADF, we can connect with cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases. We extract data, pump the data into data lake or Synapse, and perform all the transformations, right? Yes. Here, it is ETL, but our working style, is ELT. What is that? Extract, load, transform. Here it is ETL, but our working style is extract, load, transform. Generally ETL for small volumes. ETL for small volumes of data, ELT for huge volumes of data. So we have got Azure SQL for normal databases, right? Yes. Just check with this. So ETL, it acts as a data integration service between this Azure SQL and Azure Synapse. It is not comes as OLTP or it doesn't come as warehouse. But see ADF, right? If I talk more on this ADF, so as I was discussing, right? So these are the various data engineering products or services. The main thing like Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Bricks, Azure Synapse. So as a initially, you can go as a ADF developer, ADB developer, Azure Data Engineer, right? So here, if we talk more on this, ADF, if we talk ADF versions, See the difference between this previous version of ADF and this current version of ADF. ADF versions. ADF version 1. ADF version 1. Second, ADF version 2. A lot of differences from ADF version 1 to version 2. So ADF version 1, it is used to perform EL only, not ETL, EL only. It is used to perform EL only, but not ETL. I mean to say there were no inbuilt transformations. There were no inbuilt transformations. To perform transformations, here, to perform transformations, some additional services are required. Some additional services required. Such as ADLA, Azure Data Lake Analytics. So we need to have some additional service like ADLA. So Azure Data Lake Analytics. Here analytics are done. Here analytics are done. Here analytics. USQL. What is that? USQL. What is this USQL? Unified Structured Query Language. Unified Structured Query Language. So don't feel it is not equivalent. Basic SQL. It is not equivalent to basic SQL. USQL is totally different. Is totally different. USQL is totally different. Second is HD Insights. HD Insights service. We had HD Insights, right? HD Insights is nothing but Hadoop Insights. Same big data. Hadoop framework, same big data Hadoop framework in Azure Cloud. In Azure Cloud is called HD Insights. Here we have a data flow language called PIC. Here we have a data flow language. Apache PIC. Data flow language called Apache Pig, right? Yes, using Pig. Using this Apache Pig. Data flows are written. Data flows are written. And transformations performed. So Pig was one of the best. It's a kind of scripting language, very simple, like a Pig Latin language we used to say, right? So transformations are done by using this Pig. Later, so I mean in the previous version of this ADF, lot of knowledge you need to have, right, about all these things. But the current version is more flexible. No coding involved, zero coding. I'll come to it. But what are the things required previously? ADLA, HD insights, thirdly, like Azure functions. You need to have the knowledge on this Azure functions. We need to write Azure functions. These Azure functions are complex to implement. These Azure functions are complex to implement. Later, like you need to have the knowledge about this Databricks also. Azure Databricks. You need to have the knowledge on the stored procedures. Stored procedures. So to perform all these transformations, first you should be a developer. See, in the previous, in this ADF version 1, you need to have a lot of prerequisites required. To perform all these transformations, first, you should be a developer. That too, you should be expert. You should be expert in scripting. You should be expert in scripting. That is USQL. USQL or pig script. So that too, you should be expert in scripting like USQL script, pig script. So big generally for pig script by Hadoop developer, right? You need to have the knowledge on this, right? And Azure functions for Azure functions. Very complex code. Generally, like Azure functions, like .NET developer. Generally, these Azure functions like using C# .NET. Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks by Spark developer. Stored procedures. Stored procedures, right? By SQL developer. So here, So you need to have about all these things, right? In ADF version 1 into for writing these transformations like pig scripts, USQL scripts, Azure functions, like and database like Spark. You should be a Spark developer. You should be a SQL developer. You should be a Hadoop developer. You should be a .NET developer, right? But this is the problem, right? This is the problem with ADF version 1. ADF version 1. So afterwards, Microsoft recognized and decided, right, to make a ETL tool, to make a ETL tool, to make a ETL tool with zero coding, with zero coding. That's why they launched. That's why they launched a new version. They launched a new version, ADF version 2. Okay. ADF version 2. ADF version 2 is a zero coding ETL. It is zero coding ETL. Even previously Informatica, right? 80% drag and drop, 20% used to write SQL script. But here in ADF, everything drag and drop, no need to write anything, right? Zero coding ETL. So the ADF, even the performance is super, right? So multiple TBs of data it can process at a great speed. Yes. In ADF version 2, right? In ADF version 2, you have all the features of version 1. So here we talk about this ADF version 2, ADF version 2. ADF version 2. All features of version 1, all features of version 1, plus additionally you got the concept of data flows. You got the concept of data flows and Power Query, right? So here if you can see lot of inbuilt transformations you can perform. No write coding. In ADF version 2, we have the concept of data flows and Power Query. In previously in version 1, these data flows are done by using writing pig scripts. But here in version 2, as a ADF developer, you don't need to have the knowledge on these pig scripts or these Azure functions or stored procedures. Everything you can drag and drop. That's why zero coding ETL, right? So here we can perform complex transformations. We can perform complex transformations by using data flows, without writing any code, right? Without writing any code. Just drag and drop. So as a developer, we develop data flows. We develop data flows. When you run the data flow, Understand carefully. Data flows are internally converted. Data flows are internally converted to Databricks jobs. They're internally converted to Databricks jobs. These jobs are executed by Spark. These jobs are executed by Spark. You no need to write any Spark coding here. You no need to write any. You don't need to write any Spark coding here. Automatically, they are converted into Databricks job and executed internally. You don't need to write any code. So we define data flows. They converted into Databricks jobs executed by the Spark. So Spark is the execution engine. Spark is the execution engine. Spark as a facility. Spark as a facility. MPP. MPP. Massive parallel process. Massive parallel process. Spark is the execution engine. Spark as a facility MPP. Massive parallel process. Spark as a facility MPP, right? Massive parallel process and also in memory computation. 100 times Spark is 100 times faster than the normal disk processing, right? Yes. So this is what, no need to write any coding in this ADF. So initially you can get into the company by using as a ADF developer, but don't forget you have got a great demand for this Azure Databricks, that too if you have got knowledge of Spark, right? So as part of the course, I'll be discussing, right, Azure Databricks with PySpark. Just check this. So if you see the salary package is also for Azure Data Engineer, right, with the great packages 1.5 times more than the other technologies. So also they'll be expecting technicals from you that. So as part of this course, I'll be discussing in brief about this Azure Data Engineering services, especially Azure Data Factory in brief, Azure Databricks, but Azure Databricks as the combination with the PySpark, I'll be discussing, right? If you see that most of the training sites, so see that PySpark, here I'll be discussing PySpark, Azure Databricks with PySpark has got great boom, Azure Synapse. Apart from this, you'll be also getting knowledge on this Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake. This for RDBMS purpose. This is a file system. This is a NoSQL database. This is for streaming. So you will be taking the input and output. You will be taking the input from this and be writing that output to these things, right? So as a ADF developer, as a ADB developer, you will be interacting with these things, right? Yes. So you'll be getting the session video, each and every session video, and soft copy of the class notes, clear notes of this and WhatsApp group for technical discussions or if any others. So all the sessions will be interactive sessions and also practical orient, everything like there is no theory at all. Initially for first 2-3 sessions, everything will be, it's a practical oriented. So even if you want to do parallel along with me, you can do parallel along with me. the tasks, various tasks we do here. Everything drag and drop only, right? You're not going to write any code. You can do, we can perform parallel along with me. If any errors, you can share the screens, or even if any, especially in the Databricks environment, any configurations, errors, other things, you can share the screen, right? So during the session, you can ask the queries, interact, you can respond for each, every statement I type, means for everything, for every task I do, right? You will be responding, right? How we are going to perform it. Interview questions type for each topic. Okay. The timing of this batch, first 1 week at 5 p.m., right? Later, it will be starting at 7 p.m. up to the end of the course. Go to the course content once. So just to go to this course content, right? Azure Data Factory. So everything in brief. This pipeline, linked services, data sets, activities, triggers, integration, runtime, all these things, right? Data flows, different activities, slowly changing dimensions, type 1, type 2, and nearly 50, 50, right? 50 practical exercises I'm going to discuss, right? In this way. Azure Databricks, next. Just I'll be providing you the basics of this big data, Hadoop and Spark before I go with this Azure Databricks, right? And introduction to this Azure Databricks, creating adding users and groups, creating cluster, managing cluster, displaying cluster, starting cluster, terminating cluster, deleting a cluster, cluster information, cluster logs, job cluster, Databricks pool, cluster modes, auto scaling feature, right? Databricks utilities, different Databricks utilities, integration with different storages, and also handling different file formats, CSV, JSON, Parquet, Excel, XML, ORC, Avro, Databricks batch processing, historical data load, incremental data load, date transformations, aggregations, Windows, Databricks streaming API, Databricks lakehouse, difference between data lake and delta lake, DML operations, handling SCD type 1, type 2, workflows in Databricks, Azure Synapse, introduction and overview of pools using Azure Synapse Analytics, storage account integration, right? Incremental load, data flow introduction, right? Yes. Spark pool introduction. So these things. So along with this, I said you'll be getting knowledge on this Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Cosmos DB, and Azure Streaming, right? Yes. So tomorrow we'll go with the actual things. Tomorrow we'll be starting with this ADF, right? So tomorrow the link will be changing. You are supposed to get enrolled for getting the link to your mail ID, right? You can see in the chart, right? If you have got any queries or concerns, right? You can see that contact details of this online team. 3 contact details they have provided. The payment details, details such as Google Pay, Phone Pay details, and course content for Azure Data Engineering, for ADF, for all these things it is provided, right? Yes. Fine. So tomorrow we'll be starting with this introduction to this Azure Data Factory. And also I'll be showing you how to run this, the resources, right? For the software and Azure subscription. You can get the free Azure subscription, right? How to get the free Azure subscription, I'll discuss. Don't worry about these things, right? Everything I'll be showing you step by step, right? Any other queries from your side? So get enrolled for getting the link to your mail IDs. So also once you get enrolled, don't forget the screenshot of your payment to that mail ID that is provided, right? As DURGASOFT online training @gmail.com. Okay. Any other queries? Right? Yes. Okay. So if I'm done with the queries, if no other queries, I'll sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow at 5 o'clock on. First 1 week I said it will be at 5 o'clock, later it will be at 7 o'clock, right? Yes. So I'm signing off for now. Meet you tomorrow. Yes. Thank you all for your time. Thank you.